Good afternoon, Dr. Peter Woodruff, honoured guests, parents and school. And thank you to our joint ensemble for the rendition of Leonard Bernstein's song One Hand, One Heart from West Side Story. My name is James Lambert, head boy, and I wish you a very warm welcome on this wonderful occasion on which we celebrate the success of the boys and girls in our school.
And I too bid you all a warm welcome this afternoon. My name is Kayla Rayburn James, head girl, and to be honest, this is the first real speech day here at Clare's Court that I'm a genuine participant in. For I joined the sixth form last September from Burnham Grammar School in order to study my A-levels and in addition to engage in the wide and varied life of this remarkable school.
I'm currently studying philosophy, business and media. I've hoped of going straight into employment using the skills I've learned after sixth form on a degree-level apprenticeship in an advertising and PR firm. Since year 8, I've been a keen rower for the school and I've represented England at the Home International Regatta last year.
When I first started at Clare's Court, I was very quiet and mainly kept to myself. But being in the school has helped me grow as an individual and has increased my confidence. Just a year ago, I would have never been able to stand up here and talk to you all today. I'm so grateful and hope for the same to happen to any other students joining the school in the future. I'm currently studying drama, psychology and geography for A-level, along with an EPQ. I've enjoyed psychology so much that I hope to study it at Bath University, especially within the fields of forensics, criminology or developmental psychology once my time here at Clare's Court is over.
In putting together our picture montage of the school, we've tried to show you both the range of activities and the variations in style that are unique to our school.
There are many things that our girls and boys do together, and many others that are carried out or completed in our own separate sites for boys and for girls. Though of course in the sixth form, almost everything is done in the co-educational mix.
But yes, surprisingly, some of what we do is not boys and girls together. Rugby,
Netball,
football,
hockey.
We have aimed to highlight those elements of our learning and personal development that happen outside of our school, through our trips, excursions and opportunities to collaborate and compete with our other schools and social groups here nearby in the Thames Valley and further afield in the United Kingdom and Europe.
We've captured the story from events around school, which did not necessarily take place in the classroom. That's from our days in school doing things differently, whether that be during Science or Languages Week or whilst working with well-known authors who have workshopped with us to develop our creative writing further.
It's important that all of us have the opportunity to be ambassadors for our school, both as its students and also as individuals, able to speak out about what we know and stand for.
One of the features of growing importance is pupil or student voice, shorthand for the requirement the heads make of us to stand up and speak out for the values and responsibilities that we have as young citizens in our community.
Another key feature is for us to show us how we notice those who are different to ourselves and question how we involve them more fully in opportunities we enjoy and may take for granted. Charity work here at Clare's Court means so much more than raising money, time, energy and effort. Although donations are a vital element of what is required to provide for others who cannot provide for themselves.
We show you examples of the work we do with Sports Able, through which partnership we learn more about those who are differently abled or disabled. Assisting the Lions Club with their hamper distribution at Christmas shows how important it is that we give our time and labour to make things happen.
We've had a lot of fun searching out and putting these pictures together. We couldn't help but notice that the science department are very keen on using cakes to make cells and other demonstration items as part of their project work. This makes giving feedback on their completed work all the more tasty.
The images we have found highlight many of the key components of how successful learning happens. Of course, the environment needs to be structured, but having fun whilst learning clearly improves the mind's openness to learning.
And testing, interleaving, spaced learning, determined skill acquisition and just enough points of failure to encourage us to have another go are vital ingredients to motivate us to learn how to learn.
As our film moves along, you'll notice the repetition of key themes from Year 7 through to sixth form. Outside, inside, academic and social learning, all with their place in our working year.
Our sixth form celebrates its 25th silver anniversary this autumn, providing us with the opportunity to welcome back here today Trevor Sharkey, founding head of sixth form in 1994, and his deputy at the time, Elizabeth Green, who then went on to provide separate distinguished service as head teacher of our girls' school.
We also welcome back Mr. Andy Giles, who took over the sixth form for 10 years, from 2007 to 2018, and from by his side his deputy, Mrs. Stephanie Rogers, who stepped forward to take over the sixth form.
Throughout the film, we show many examples of success, several of which highlight participation and collaboration, which is the focus of the engagement you see.
And there are plenty of opportunities where our efforts are not automatically followed by success. I'd rather not treat losing or failure as the main purpose of what we do, but emphasise the value in making mistakes and trying again. We don't start new activities or subjects knowing we're going to be good at them.
As I previously mentioned, one of my major activities here is rowing. The dedication, discipline and time management to reach the level I have, and of course the many man hours every week.
Working on my extended project qualification, entitled "To What Extent Does True Altruism Exist?", has enabled me to hone numerous transferable skills which will be invaluable as I move on to higher education. Ensuring the final product is accurate and follows the correct criteria has required repeated editing and reworking, and it has been difficult, but I am hopeful that the examiners will appreciate the work put into my project. In short, I've found, whatever you want to do in life, practice is required, practice makes perfect, and practice makes permanent. If you aim high and work hard, anything is achievable.
We would like to express how important the support of the Parent-Teacher Association is, their efforts behind the scenes and creativity in developing our flagship events that have seen the addition of many useful items around the school this last year.
In the sixth form, the PTA supported us in a variety of ways. As with the whole school, we hugely benefit from the prizes and awards they make available at Speech Day and Sports Days. In addition, for the sixth form this year, they provided new awards for Year 12 and keepsake leaving gifts for Year 13, as well as a fancy dress photo booth at the summer ball and reusable water bottles for students to encourage sustainability around school.
At senior level, the Year 11 prom arrived, again well supported by the PTA, parents of Year 11 and the school staff, providing a new focus for the end of the summer term for all, rather than just the end of GCSE exams in the sports halls.
At junior boys and girls level, the PTA's excellent innovations continue, with the PTA hosting a big top circus event as part of our annual fundraising activities, though it must be said the arrival of Storm Hannah almost literally blew the event away. Full tribute to Miss Norton Brown and her team at Junior Boys, as well as Miss Tina Webster and Miss Taylor West for rescuing the event by incorporating it at a later date with the summer fete.
We will leave you now to watch the remaining slides of our film. We hope our words and images have helped you to enjoy a flavour of what is so very special here at Clares Court, and that our presentation has warmed you up for the main act to follow, the Clares Court Speech Day and Prize Giving 2019.
Ladies and gentlemen, James and I bid you all farewell. Thank you for listening, watching, and appreciating our year in pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, please will you welcome onto stage Luke Lyons to perform his musical contribution to Speech Day, Waving Through a Window by Benj Pasek and Justin Paul from the new hit musical Dear Evan Hansen.
Learn to slam on the brake before I even turn the key, before I make a mistake, before I lead with the worst of me. Give them no reason to stare, no stepping up if you slip away. So I got nothing to share, no, I got nothing to say. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned, because you've learned. On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than I've always been? 'Cause I'm tapping on the glass, waving through a window. Stars in our eyes, we stop believing that we belong. But every sun doesn't rise, but no one tells you where you went wrong. Step out of the sun if you keep getting burned. Step out of the sun because you've learned, because you've learned. Fall in a forest and there's nobody around. Do you ever really crash or even make a sound? When you fall in a forest and there's nobody around, do you ever really crash or even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? Did I even make a sound? It's like I never made a sound. Will I ever make a sound? On the outside, always looking in, will I ever be more than
astonishing song this afternoon. My name is Hannah Hale, and after joining in Year 3, I'm so happy to be head girl of the senior girls. I was always a little shy and lacking in confidence, always being the people that said I can't do it, whether it be sporting scenarios, music exams, tests, drama productions, standing up in front of people and talking. Yet here I am, standing in front of all of you as head girl of the senior girls, delivering this speech today at Speech Day. Without the varied and wide range of opportunities and support that Clare's Court have provided me, I may not have realised my true potential. I'm proud to say that I've passed my Grade 6 Blue, competed in various national ISA sports competitions, successfully passed my Grade 5 Lambda, among other great successes.
And my name is Max Pianta, head boy at the Senior Boys School, and equally delighted to be with you this afternoon. I have been with Clare's Court since 2007, almost as an important year for the school as it was for technology, coinciding as it did with the launch of the first iPhone. In 2015, I joined the Senior Boys School. My first year was a difficult one for me. The staff at Senior Boys were incredibly supportive and helped me understand what I needed to do to change my situation. It wasn't easy, but by mid-year 8, I was making progress to get back on track. I feel it is important that pupils understand that sometimes things don't go according to plan, but not to feel demotivated. With support, a focused mind, hard work, you can turn things around, which I'm proud to say has worked for me. Achieving the honour of head boy. I'm also a proud member of Clare's Court Boat Club, which has taught me resilience and perseverance tenfold.
It is our great privilege to introduce to you our principal guest, Peter Woodruff, Deputy CEO of the Independent Schools Association, ISA. We are delighted to welcome former pupil Peter Woodruff as our guest speaker at this year's Speech Day and prize giving. Peter joined junior boys at the age of 8 in 1987 and has since gone on to flourish academically, studying maths at Oxford University and gaining a doctorate from Nottingham University.
Dr. Woodrow has worked extensively in the education sector in various roles, including headmaster of a school in Nottingham, before joining the Independent Schools Association, where he is now the Deputy CEO.
He has become increasingly aware of Clare's Court and our many and varied activities, for we are proud to be a very active member of ISA, and host the regional arts, athletics, netball, and have this last year assisted with the national rugby competitions and inaugural music festival here in Maidenhead.
Our school is reaching its 60 years of age. It's worth recalling that our buildings in central Maidenhead, where the sixth form is located, also carries the legacy of its former pupils and the staff of the pre-Second World War school, Maidenhead College.
Mrs. Hayward, head teacher at Senior Girls, will of course recall that she was originally employed by Maidenhead College back in September 1984, when it was an all-girls school. No boarding, covering a wider range extending down into the nursery then.
The school was originally established back in 1891 as a day and boarding school for boys by Andrew Miller Inglis, who is known as one of the founders of the Proprietors Association, now known as the Independent Schools Association, ISA.
We hear that Dr. Woodruff is a fan of the arts, a keen singer, and enjoys amateur dramatics. His love of strategic board games saw him compete for England's winning team at this year's Blood Bowl Eurobowl.
For those in the audience that are not aware of what Blood Bowl is, which I'm sure is most of you, I'll explain more. There exists a company and a set of shops called Games Workshop. They sell small figures of valiant humans, noble elves, savage orcs, or a variety of twisted and monstrous creatures.
Who can be set out on the kitchen table apparently to play Blood Bowl, a two-player turn-based board game based on a combination of American football and rugby, whereby each player has to score by entering the opponent's end zone with a player who possesses the ball.
The blood in Blood Bowl is represented by the violent actions available to the players. Players may attempt to injure or maim the opposition in order to make scoring easier by reducing the number of enemy players on the field.
Dr. Woodruff, I don't know whether we have any blockers, blitzers, throwers, catchers, runners and linemen sat in the audience, but we do have plenty of stars from Clare's Court, and we look forward to hearing you speak this afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Peter Woodrow to the microphone.
Thank you very much, Max and Hannah, for that wonderful, if slightly embarrassing introduction. And thank you all for inviting me here to speak with you at your prize giving today. It's lovely to be back. However, calculating that I joined Clares Court and Ridgeway 32 years ago is making me feel rather old. Probably not as old, however, I suspect, is making Mr. Wilding feel, as he was my headmaster when I was a pupil here too, albeit, if you can imagine it, with dashing black hair and a rather trim moustache. It's super to hear such wonderful performances and to hear from the head boys and head girls of all that you've been getting from the school. I am especially grateful to the school in two main areas. Firstly, I'm very grateful to the school in breaking my addiction to choose your own adventure books and in inspiring me to experiment with literature. Secondly, it was at Clares Court where I first tasted the delights of musical theatre. I think the musical back in 1989 was Dracula Spectacular. This love has continued through school, university, and even during my employment as cameo roles in my own school's plays, right to the dizzying heights of village pantomime, which I believe some of the pupils might have seen on the stairs this term. Now, there's one incident from my time here as a pupil that I recall particularly clearly. My friends and I were quite keen on gambling. And in Year 7, we were mainly playing Newmarket with pack of cards and pennies, but we were struggling to find somewhere to play where the larger boys wouldn't ruin our game and steal our money. I'm not quite sure how we got there, but we ended up on the floor outside Mr. Wilding's office. At some point he emerged and was bemused to find us on his floor. Desperate to avoid getting in trouble for gambling, we scrabbled for an excuse and we claimed the playground was too dangerous for small boys, so we were seeking safe refuge inside. Amazingly, Mr. Wilding accepted this rather tenuous excuse, and he used us in his next morning briefing to demand to the boys that the behaviour on the playground improved. Now I've been asked to share with you a life lesson or two that I believe will be useful. Well, I'm going to talk to you about resilience or perseverance, which has been quite a buzzword in education for the last few years. But I hope I'll be able to add some personal reflections and practical advice that might be useful. Now, we live in a rapidly changing and uncertain world. Advances in technology are making many jobs redundant. Fewer jobs and growing populations are making competition for jobs much tougher. Global warming, Brexit, terrorism, and other issues are making our future uncertain and a little bit scary. The 24/7 world of constant communication and instant gratification that you're growing up in is more intense and pressurised than that of your parents. And this continual and constant stream of banal communications and internet posts are causing many young people to question the point of their existence and whether life has any meaning or hope. Well, for me, the uncertainty and fragility of life was brought into stark tension 5 years ago. My wife had had some discomfort in her lungs and had been coughing for a few months. And when she finally got it checked out, the X-ray revealed a huge black lump in her lung. The doctors immediately diagnosed advanced lung cancer. That's it, I thought. My wife is going to die, and I'm going to be bringing up my 3 children on my own. I didn't know how I would cope. But as a Christian, I have my faith. I know that God loves me because he sent his Son to die for me. And I know it's true because Jesus rose from the dead. Without this faith, I don't know how I would have coped those years ago. But knowing that God loves me and has a plan for me kept me going. Now, thankfully, the initial diagnosis turned out to be wrong. She did not have cancer, she just had tuberculosis, which, although you'll see people dying on television, thankfully nowadays has been completely cured. So my wife is fine. But I know I'll face other problems in life. And when I do, I know that my faith will keep me going. And in fact, the Bible had it right 2,000 years ago when identifying that it's the trials in life that produce perseverance. So, what is going to be your foundation? How are you going to stand firm when the trials of life come? Because they will. Maybe during school or university, or perhaps later. Perhaps you've already faced serious hardship. Maybe you'll find faith. But whatever you do, you'll need to persevere, as it's going to be an interesting future. Just as an aside, I'd like to share another story with you, with a slightly lighter note. One from my time as head teacher in Nottingham. The point of this story is actually, rather than directed at the pupils, we directed it at some of the parents here, but the point will also be useful for you as well. I'm going to tell you the story of a girl called Florence. She was a delightful girl. She'd been diagnosed with diabetic at the age of 6, but it didn't hold her back, and she went into everything with all the engagement she could muster. Now, one year we held auditions for the school musical, and as staff, we laid the ground carefully. We made sure that everyone understood that there weren't enough roles for everybody, so it would be by audition, but clearly we didn't do our job well enough. Florence auditioned, which was very good, but didn't quite get one of the roles. That evening, I was ambushed by her mother, demanding to know why her daughter hadn't been given a role, and how she'd been diagnosed diabetic at age 6, which I knew, and how she didn't want her to face any disappointment in her life. I was attempting to rally myself at this point and think of what to say, when Florence interrupted her mother. Her exact words were, "Mother, it's fine. I don't mind. I can audition again next year." And then this was the best bit. She actually said, "How am I going to learn resilience if you won't let me face disappointment?" It was just brilliant. I could have hugged her, would have been inappropriate, so I settled for a high five. But the point here is that as parents, you need to allow your children, your pupils, to face disappointment and failure, particularly in school, where they can be nurtured and guided. Trust your teachers. They're brilliant, and they care deeply for your children. They need to learn how to cope with disappointment in order to learn resilience. Now finally, pupils of Clare's Court, I would encourage you to search for meaning. Don't be distracted by the electronic diarrhea of social media. I have a teenage daughter, and she has this app called TikTok, which, yeah, okay, you've heard of it. It provides the most pointlessly banal swiping experience ever, watching people try to gain popularity by making videos of themselves doing daft things. I would encourage you, reject the lure of social media. Look for genuine meaning. Read philosophy, study astronomy, quantum mechanics, talk to gurus, and ask big questions. For me, it led me to Jesus, and following him gives more meaning and satisfaction than any of the atheist worldviews I initially followed. I wonder where it will lead you. Thank you.
Don't worry. visitors and pupils. Welcome this afternoon as we come together to celebrate the 2018-19 prize giving.
It's lovely to see so many friendly faces. Well, in theory it is. We're actually blinded here, aren't we, Maggie? It's brilliantly dark, and in fact we're just about making those sense of our notes. But it's not just about our adults here, it's about you boys and girls, you people. Thank you for being here, and to our honoured guests, we do thank you for the time you've taken out of your busy days to recognise Hares Court's contribution to the last academic year of our town.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Margaret Hayward, head teacher at Senior Girls, reporting on my second year in charge as head. I've been teaching here since September 1984. It gives me great pleasure to welcome back Mr. James Wilding back to the stage, who has just completed his first 2 terms as head teacher of Senior Boys. So tell me, James, what's it like being back at the helm?
Well, Mrs. Hayward, it's been fine and dandy, it must be said. We've been working with each other, it must be said, for a long, long time, though this is the first time in parallel roles as school leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, this term we celebrate Mrs. Hayward's 35th year of working in our school. Her knowledge and understanding of how our school ticks is second to none. Please join me in thanking her for a huge thank you. Of course, as you know, it's not just Wildings or 2 in our school. We have a multitude of Wildings, and now we appear to have a multitude of Haywards, or at least your daughters.
Yes, correct.
Because we have something else on the way, don't we, Mrs. Hayward?
Do we, Mr. Wilding?
Because we can read your lines out.
Oh, sorry. You went off track, you threw me a bit there. Mrs. Hayward and I, hang on, that's your bit. And we can swap stories of what it is to be grandparents, Mr. Wilding. That's the bit, wasn't it?
Indeed, she is a fox and I have a Freddie, and it's great fun to look at the kind of mistakes our children can make as parents and walk away. They are weighty responsibilities, grandchildren, but nothing like the responsibilities for you as parents of your own.
Before we begin, we would like to reflect upon the things we as a school have been aiming to achieve over the past 3 years. Developing our school ethos and curriculum, which takes the best and new innovations to enrich each pupil's learning journey, and also adding layers to the traditions and skills that lead to excellent teaching.
Going to the cloud 8 years ago enabled our school to understand how to use any device anywhere for learning, but we needed to take on the kind of learning that now exists post the arrival of technology. And with 2 of the leading doctors of learning science in the United States, we're delighted that they've lent their work to us. And Mrs. Hayward's going to say a little bit about that.
With the introduction of 6 strategies for effective learning and the refinement of our wellbeing programme, we are doing our very best to ensure that all our pupils hold a positive view of themselves and are ready to approach the future with self-confidence.
In short, our aim remains to provide an excellent, relevant and modern education, coupled with exceptional pastoral care and a multitude of extracurricular experiences. We hope you, our audience this afternoon, see the evidence of that in plenty.
We are immensely proud that as a school we have continued to offer a rich and diverse range of subjects and activities that meet the artistic, creative, intellectual and physical needs that our diverse population of boys and girls need.
I'm going to say something about this a little later on when we're talking at sixth form level. It's clearly understood in our school that academic thinking is not the same in every discipline. In fact, the pedagogic strengths that are needed in art, design and technology are utterly different from the skills needed in languages, maths and the sciences. In music, sports, business and enterprise, they all develop new skills that require new ways of working that don't relate and map across other subject areas. Our country craves talented individuals in these areas, talents that are needed to develop early in schools, not wait till adulthood further down the line.
Success, however it arrives, assists us all to have a positive view of ourselves, even more noticeably when such confidence is retained and enhanced for the secondary school years, motivating each and every pupil to aim for higher success and be determined to achieve their personal best.
It's been interesting watching that interplay with Max and Hannah about boys and girls. And the success, however it arrives, is at a time when personal bests keep improving. It seems the sub-2-hour marathon will soon be run, and man can hoverboard across the channel, whilst woman, well actually one in particular, Sarah Thomas, can beat that cancer thing that Peter was so worried about in setting that new world record for swimming the channel 4 times. Whilst we're here in school, A-levels have been toughened up, and at GCSE, the introduction of the new level 9 has quickly seen our young men and women facing and meeting the challenge of achieving academically at a higher level than seen before.
Academic success matters, and we set great store by this here at Clares Court. Our gathering today is just one of our many celebrations we have put in place to recognise and reward high achievement, many perhaps just small steps made for the winning of commendations.
Others may, perhaps through regional and national awards such as the Rotary and Lions Club events, or the UK Maths Challenge, or Trinity Guild and Lambert events and exams.
But however academically successful a pupil is, if they do not have the confidence to share their views in conversation with others, persuade others of their reasoning and interests, nothing has been gained.
By making the creative arts a very important part of what we offer our pupils, we are giving them avenues to learn new skills and step into a role or pick up an instrument and perform. Whether or not they become famous actors or musicians, they will always retain an understanding for the arts which will enrich their lives in the future.
This positive view of themselves is also encouraged by the wide variety of sporting and outdoor education opportunities offered here at Clares Court, which provide the double bonus of finding wonderful opportunities to connect and to collaborate with each other.
Not necessarily by TikTok, Peter. It's important that we separate ourselves from that digital community that's engaged through apps and screens, with which now they can connect with alternative ways unchecked and health-harming addictions and behaviours develop subsequently.
So academically, artistically, creatively, in enterprise and in sport, we are providing every pupil the opportunity for personal success. And today's celebrations is our annual showcase to highlight just how successful we have achieved this.
And through the work of our 2 heads of sixth form, James and Kyla, we've been able to capture through their pupil voice a pictorial journey through our work of the year. And that involved not just in school, but a wide out there in Maidenhead and further afield, perhaps internationally too. To all of our boys and girls who have given their pupil voice to school council and similar activities this year, we give our grateful thanks. Please, adults in the audience, thank our pupils for having a pupil voice and making it.
Every year develops its own orchestration and character, and whilst one of the joys of school life is the rhythm and routine, it is the unexpected what makes it unique, how we respond to it and nurture it that gives each year its identity.
And although Mrs. Hayward and myself might be seen to be in charge of that orchestra, what changes the melody, the rhythm, the beat, so to speak, is of course the wonderful interaction between the young people, both with each other and with the teachers who show them the way.
Last academic year, like any other, was made of wonderful abundance of small, large, individual and team successes, interspersed with the odd obstacle, the latter this year being amongst others
Planners,
some neighbours,
some counsellors,
some badgers.
badgers. Who knew on earth that that would be our downfall?
Peter Woodruff, would you kindly join us to present the awards to our prize winners today? So Peter would like to come up. Let's see. You're somewhere there, Peter. We commence this afternoon's awards by recognising our new scholars entering the school into Year 7 this September. Scholarship is the exhibition of successful academic study, demonstrating learning for its own sake at the highest level for age and stage. We look to encourage leaders of scholarships throughout the secondary and sixth forms phase to inspire and enrich.
So boys and girls, scholars, You have just started your secondary school career at Clares Court. As you will have learned from a team building day with the National Trust at Clifton last Friday, whatever your skills and talents are, and however much they are to develop over the next 5 years, they are above all to be put to the service of the wider community, both here in school and the wider Maidenhead world beyond. At Scholars, you've already made the decision to stand up to be counted. We wish you well with all that you do here within Clares Court.
This year we launched the Clares Court Award, the significant scholarship won by one girl and one boy for entry into Year 7. And inaugural winners of the Clares Court Award are Charlotte Williamson,
Hugo Windsor. In addition, the London Bus made scholarships to Lauren Kruger and Max Moore.
Henry Allen, Isabella Ayres, Tom Buckland, William Dart, Gabriella Dorrit, Jake Hislop.
Victoria Jessamine, Alexandra Kulikova, Lucy Lamond, Henry Liebenberg.
Tom Russell, Thomas Peasy, Ronnie Porter-Bailey, Luke Robertson, Mia Rogers.
And Joshua Spanswick, Zach Sullivan, Emily Terry, Harry Watson, and James Wojciechowicz. Peter, if you'd like to just step forward along with our students there and just take this final bow to say, well done, our scholars of 2018-19. Thank you.
This was their first year at Big School, and all proved to have settled in well to the rigours and demands of senior education, a major learning curve for them for their relatively productive environment of junior school. There were, of course, many highlights of the year, as our new Year 7 had just experienced. We bring the boys and girls together for their first outdoor learning experience at Clares Court, in the gardens of Clifton, building their creative skills, learning a little more about our local history and giving of service by assisting the gardeners of the National Trust.
Year 7 enjoy many educational experiences in common, both through the curriculum and the activities shared. As part of National Storytelling Week, our boys and girls created their own stories, whilst Blue Peter Award-winning author Ali Sparks led a creative writing workshop which focused on creating dialogue and mood. All pupils had their first opportunity to take part in the UK Junior Maths Challenge, an annual opportunity to pit their skills with us all across the country. Our artists enhanced their drawing skills at the Stanley Spencer Gallery. Historians got their hands literally on medieval history. These are some of the many experiences enjoyed together.
We also enjoy some very different traditions too. Our swimming stars competed in the ISA London West Regional Championships, battling for places in the national finals, as well as trying to win the regional team competition. We are delighted that 3 girls qualified for the ISA National Swimming Championships at the London Aquatic Centre, bringing home 5 medals between them.
Whilst our under-12 rugby players completed an unbeaten season against all comers, including in the Berkshire Festival, winning all but one game, that being a draw. In 2019, Year 7 boys, having the most successful charity week, contributions made by Year 7 group raised over £3,000 for our global, the Gambia charity, and the Year 7's chosen charity in PACT.
All concluding with our very successful combined activities week, closing at Clifton once more, where pupils used their creative, artistic flair, learned some basic first aid, and went on a bug hunt, being scientific explorers.
So time to welcome our prize winners from Year 7 for 2019. 12 Plus Scholarship and Year 7 Learner of the Year, Amber Lattimore.
12 Plus Supporting Scholars, some of whom are collecting subject awards today: Molly Buckland, Panache Chikwanda, Caitlin Freeman, Edward Holmes, Anya Howard, Probran Khan, Layla Meadows, Edward Miller, Emma Rance.
those additional subject awards to the boys and girls of Year 7, Thomas Crane, Lawson Hind, Zara Baig, Bryn Campsey, Finn Keelock, Cole Dodd, George Crew, Kate Woodley, Tom Webster, Charlie Lucas, Alexander Belsley.
Charlotte Veal, Charla Yokate, Ava Fisher, Zara Brewer, Alice Osler.
So again, Dr. Woodruff, if you could just go over, join them and take this applause with your bow. If you're new to Clare's Court, you don't know about our Learner of the Year. This is given to that boy, that girl, whose contribution in class and work was seen to be an example of us all. We've already heard the girls' award to Amber Loudmore. This is the boys' award to Learner of the Year, Jack Newton.
Year 8 pupils is all about accelerating away into the secondary school, extending their knowledge, learning how to apply all that they learn both inside and outside the classroom. There was opportunity for more fun, as well as perhaps an even more competitive edge to some of their activities.
Last year saw the last residential autumn stay at Osmington Bay. Yesterday, it was a year ago, arriving back from their residential trip, hastily exiting the coaches, exhausted and excitedly informing their parents and the speech of their memorable experiences.
It was great to celebrate the art department's achievements, and the school won many of the categories at the ISA London West Regional Round, winning the right to be exhibited at the ISA Natural Exhibition in November.
The Boys Drama Festival coupled the works of Shakespeare with a form of commedia dell'arte, remarkable works to be recognised in some so young.
The girls took their leading work, The Silent Cry, to the ISA Drama Festival. Their interpretation of the Manchester Arena attack sensitively portrayed the effect upon the victims and their families.
Year 8 had the opportunity to work with each other on team building activities at Sportsable in Braywick. They worked collaborative with each other across the year group in various activities, such as wheelchair basketball, which was led by adults with varying abilities of their own, but certainly a lot of experience on how to play in dangerous wheelchairs. Mr. Dr. Woodruff.
It was not only the pupils who got to dress up in period costume on the Year 8 Civil War experience, held at remarkable Dorney Court, an original royalist mansion surrounded at the time by Cromwell's round-headed troops, based at nearby Windsor Castle. Mrs. Wolfe Corrigan and Mr. Ansell also enjoyed the opportunity of dressing back in time.
6 pupils from Clare's Court took part in the Year 8 Faraday Challenge at the Rutherford Appleton Laboratories in Didcot, where they battled it against teams from all over the region. Probably the sporting achievement for the boys was their winning of the County Cricket Club, reversing their cup final defeat in 2018.
We are delighted that 24 pupils across both the boys and girls and the boys' school have had the opportunity to take part in the first ISA National Choral Celebration. The focus of the day was on fun, participation and celebration of the magic of singing, led by the conductor and choir director Dominic Ellis Peckham.
We welcome then Year 8 prize winners 2019. 13 plus scholars, Alessandra Francesconi, Mariella Robinson, Jonah Stevens, Isaac Wilson. And 13 plus supporting scholars, Anna Babis, Noah Butland, Luke Bin Maddock, Jamie Davis, Matthew Dempster, Priya Hothi, Oliver Todd, Lily Toker, and James Weston.
And so to the presentation of their awards to the boys and girls of Year 8.
Lewis Morby, Niall Cohen, Charlie Bailey, Oliver Ledgar. Oliver Spencer, Grace Spearing, Sofiana Sianu, Charlie Badman, Jack Beaver.
Athena Coakley, Elizabeth Telling, Charlie Mercer, Georgina Helmuth. Harriet Taylor West, Suhani Bala, Grace Checken, Letitia Parr, Jessica Adams.
And now to the Learners of the Year, and they are proudly being the best example they can be, we have Daniel Greenwood
And Evie Morehouse. We turn our attentions to Year 9. GCSEs start pretty much in earnest for English, Maths and Sciences, though in the other disciplines pupils start to consider and explore what their options subjects should be.
4 pupils gained a taste of what it's like to answer questions at information technology firm Hewlett-Packard. This, Mr. Wilding, led them to a city briefing of all the national and international retailers of HP to hear more about the view from the classroom, explaining, as the boys and girls did, our approach to embracing the cloud, how schools can get it right, that technology is fun, and how the industry and vendors can help.
Mr. Weisspieser led the way with his contribution to the National Poetry Day by reciting his poem about words can change the world. G and I visited Bucks University Passport Day. These events offer learners the opportunity to discover the range of universities and courses available throughout the UK.
At the National ISA Championship, 7 girls competed and 11 medals were won. The standard of this event continues to go from strength to strength, and only the best athletes win medals. Claudia qualifying for junior discus with a throw of 31.63 metres, and Rachel with a distance of 5.26 metres in the long jump. The boys' squad team at this level won the RBWM Athletics Finals, securing in addition 6 gold, 2 silver and 1 bronze at the RSA Regionals. Ben became national champion in the long jump, and Jack won bronze in the triple jump.
Year 9 held a range of events which took place each day throughout Charity Week, and G9 had pupils queuing out of the door raising over £200 with their variation of fruit kebabs, cookies and brownies, while the boys managed their first rowathon for Will Horton Foundation, with Will's father receiving a donation of £50 with grateful thanks.
I think that should have said £450, Mrs. Hayward.
I didn't put this in.
And those of you that know the tragic story of Will know that he went off to university after being with us in the sixth form, was tragically killed in a cycling accident on the downs when a car coming over the brow of the hill just didn't see him. And it's wonderful the way both the Houghton family and our school have come together to help keep his memory alive with this new charity support cycling in the way it has done. This year, both the boys and girls engaged throughout the year with our arts afternoon. That's not a games afternoon, but an arts afternoon. Highlights including 9 boys taking up a brass instrument for the first time, and the drama production of The Red Dragons of Gressingham at summer close. Whilst at college, no one can forget the remarkable success of our inaugural festival in the field. Think Reading Festival meets Glyndebourne. Thanks to the Year 9 girls for their wonderful backdrop created for this event.
And finally, we held the first inaugural Duke of Edinburgh camp during Activity Week, with over 100 boys and girls acquiring essential survival skills, with over 70 now having completed their qualifying bronze expedition over 2 recent weekends.
Now the interesting change here is that for years we've been in the award scheme as something that people could add as an extra. But because of this extraordinary work of our teachers in the school, building outdoor education, particularly led by Mr. Philip Bone, we've now adopted an opportunity for the whole of Year 9 to go, if you like, into the woods and join that expedition award. So, to the presentation of their awards to the boys and girls of Year 9, we have Luke Lyons, Aaron Mussell, Zach Walton, Aishmet Sethi, Henry Brownwood, Ben Davis, Aaron Jane, Naz Butt. Jacob Allen, Harry Chaplin, William Chandler, Sam Walton, William Keelock.
Coughlin, Louisa Matten, Hannah Denley. Olivia McGee, Jess Holmes, Alana Ainsley, Eva Lancaster, Erin Kenton. Grace Johnson, Darcy Sloggett, Molly Reeve Stevens. And now for Learners of the Year, they are
Raphael Seigneur
and Audrey Llewellyn.
The main year of the GCSE course, of course, is Year 10. The main year of the GCSE course is Year 10, when all subjects are bulked up and lots gets done. The focus moves very clearly into concentrated study, detailed fieldwork, personalised coursework, and lots of learning to be done.
Our food studies pupils took part in the Springboard Future Chef competition. The hospitality sparkled and the competition was fierce as the heat in the room. Our best chefs delighted the judges with the culinary expertise and irresistible courses.
Year 10 is also the time when individuals make it be known that they too can make new things happen, dare to make changes and inspire others to do the same. Witness Joe Freeman at his introduction of the Boys' Weekly Dance Club.
It's a fabulous tradition we have with the girls too. For example, those brave enough to dress as elves and then enchant all as they helped our junior pupils and nursery welcome a very special Christmas guest who arrived in a Triumph stag. He couldn't do that today, could he? No. All the way from the North Pole.
As part of the Boys' Charity Week, their assemblies to the school illuminated important issues for the young people in society, including gaming, homelessness, drugs and alcohol, showing a mature and informed attitude of care and concern.
Our Harmony Choir, over the course of the year, have treated a variety of audiences with some simply stunning singing, taking the opportunity to do some outreach work into the community and galvanise the pupils of the local infant school during their music week. I'm delighted to inform you that we have a rising star in our midst, Hannah Senior, whose song submission into the ISA National Music Competition has recently won her first place with the song Christmas Wish.
The collective enthusiasm of the boys and girls in Activity Week, with their development of forest skills and the incredible efforts clearing the Maidenhead waterways cut down the moor, at the side by where the Strand water fills from Cookham, were reported so positively to both the town centre manager and mayor. This is the year group of all in school that we like to embed the values of being a good citizen and then show them. GCSE courses out and about include geographers to Markham Bay and Cardiff, textiles to the V&A, and perhaps most memorable being the history residential in Ypres.
Rowing continues to grow at Clares Court, and the WJ15 Cot squad completed at the National Junior Sculling Head, where they achieved their target to get in the top 40 crews. For the boys, Yaku Overturf joined the school's first aid, who won through to compete at Henley in the Prince Elizabeth Cup.
Celebrating more broadly, rowing continues its great contribution to the school's sporting successes. At Nat Schools, our top squad won bronze in a very exciting race in championships. Championship quads at Brit Champs, previously Nat Champs, who won J18 doubles, Joe Stobbs and Alex Getley, silver in J18 singles, Jake Winkham, and silver in J18 pairs, Leo Griffiths and Ollie Hill. And we take great pride in our quad-winning selection to race for England in the Four Home Counties Regatta, where they came second behind Ireland, all four of the crew, of course, still being young enough to row next year.
Whilst we're all basking in the sun at the school fete, we had a good number of Year 10 sailors taking part in the National Fever Championships. Most of the times our crews are mixed. We never know which boy or girl is going to make the better helm. With great skill and show, with our two-boat Fever squad winning the Silver Fleet and going on to third place in the Thames Challenge to close the season. As a sailing club, we are always there in the mix at national finals, a recognised force amongst the top 8 in the country.
Tennis too sees our athletes performing well on the regional and national stage. This is the first year that both our under-18 squads were placed in the top 16 in the country, reaching the national finals in Nottingham. Boys 6th and girls 14th. And we have the under-15 squads back through to the regional finals already this term.
We now welcome Year 10, starting this time with our Learners of the Year. They are
Matthew Telling
and Elizabeth Mercer. Alicia, sorry.
Individual prize winners are Jacob Overturf, Seb Walker, Gavin Basra, Joel Mankin, Jonathan McGelly. Scott Bowden, Alec Fairley, Joe Freeman, Felix Stevens, Theo Josh. Marcus Leslie, Ian Hodgson, James Connor, William Debster, Max Bianta.
Mariam Soubry, Mariam Sano, Olivia O'Connor, Felicita Kinsey, Rebecca Ramsey. Molly Corcoran, Jessie Lindley, Savannah Schultz, Isabel Colson, Hannah Hickson, Annalise Stallard, Sarah Mehmet. Hannah Senior, Katie Rathbone, Emily Tapner-Evans and Ariel Spector.
The final year of senior school sees some real concentration on the last push before GCSE examinations. It's not an easy time for pupils, made perhaps slightly more bearable now that the main control assessments along the way have ceased in favour of terminal examinations only at the end of the course. It's given us that additional room to breathe over the 2-year GCSE course. Now, a full report on academic results is published every December in the thing called the Clares Court Report, although we've already headlined that the results of 2019 are the school's best for a decade.
Overall outcomes at GCSE were 91% pass rate at grade 4 or above, carrying 100% pass rate in biology, chemistry, English literature and food.
Boys excelled in addition with 100% pass rate in English language, German and Latin.
And girls with 100% in art, design, French, history and RS.
On results day, it was great to see 25 level 9s awarded, and with 31% of grades at A or above, the equivalent of old money, so many brilliantly set up for their future studies at A level and beyond. It was a great privilege to be there on results day, a great privilege to have seen the celebration of the youngsters concerned, but above all to recognise the professional commitment that our academic deputy heads give to the study of our pupils. Ladies and gentlemen, we are deeply well supported in our work as school leaders by Brunel Seltzer and Louise Thomas. And those leaders of our faculty, again, we need to bring your attention to boys and girls to bring this round of applause out to make them feel loved and appreciated. Now there is one special addition here to our programme, because we have in things we do, Peter, we do things that are local, regional, national, but we only take part regularly in one World Championship. And that World Championship is that of junior rowing at Henley Royal Regatta. If you ever have the fortune to follow behind our boats or listen to the commentary, you recognise that Clares Court is regarded as one of the great sculling crews of the country. And to recognise people's performance at Henley, after all, they have appeared at the world's elite championships. We have a specific hat that they get given, and I have been given strict instructions that today, because as you heard, we had both a 4 and an 8 hats at Henley, that we should award these today. So, if you can help me with this. By the way, these are, as you know, boys and girls in the school, these are our school caps, but they're specifically numbered for the guys once they've got them. to recognise their place in that pantheon of winners. So, could I ask the following please to come up? That's Robert Barley, Tom Hall, Jacob Overthorpe, Ollie Hill, Charlie Nash, Nathan Fry, Kabir Bala and James Lambert. Could they please come forward? Hayward, do you want to appear in the picture?
That concludes our celebrations of the work of Year 7 to 11 for the academic year 2018-19. It is time for us to step away from the microphone to make way for our sixth form students to commence their final section of Speech Day. Please welcome Joshua Morgan, Harry Coulson and Oliver Walker, who are going to entertain you with their rendition of The Man Who Stole the World. Oh no, Sold the World, I get it right, by David Bowie.
a huge celebration for the two leading pupils at GCSE. And as you can see from the stats, they are Bertie Carr, 4 grade 9s, 3 grade 8s, 4 grade 7s, reflecting Bertie's incredible determination to succeed. And Hannah Straw presented for her excellent performance and impressive attitude to learning, achieving 3 grade 9s, 6 grade 8s and 2 6s. So well done to those two, and we move on now.
I'm just going to suggest perhaps Hannah, where are you? Do you want to stand up and take this applause? Where's Hannah? Don't be shy, Hannah. Well done. Delighted that Hannah has joined us in sixth form. No pressure, Hannah, but you're going to be fantastic. I know you already are a great asset to us. So, on behalf of the sixth form team, I hope you're enjoying the afternoon. We've seen and witnessed some remarkable performances, but we've also applauded some incredible outcomes in year 7 to 10, as well as remembering in your programmes you'll see reference to year 11 and 12's achievements as well. Just trying to find the first page. I've been dazzled since arriving. So I wanted to congratulate all of you, in fact, who have awards. Many of you sat to my left, many of you scattered around the auditorium. Fantastic achievements today as a result of your hard work, your positive attitude to learning, as well as that incredible amount of talent that you have. So well done to you. I'm sure you're proud, your parents are proud, your teachers are proud. But there are some of you that haven't won a prize today, and I just had a few words for you too, because 2 years ago, one of my year 12 sat in this very venue watching so many other people being recognised for fantastic achievements. And he vowed that day that he was going to get a prize at Speech Day the following year, and you know what? Today he will be recognised for that. So all I'd say to you is do not give up. Next year could be your year. It's in your hands. So please leave this room expectant and also ready and willing to work with your teachers to achieve the dizzy heights that those around us have. The sculpture is already complete within the marble block. Before I start my work, it's already there. I just have to chisel away the superfluous material. Michelangelo, describing the process of creating perhaps the greatest sculpture of all time from marble, the David. And there are many parallels between Michelangelo's work and the role of our teachers. And before anyone worries or panics, we do not use chisels in the classroom on any of your sons or daughters. But we can see the talent, we can see the potential and the promise in them. And our role is to recognise the character, the skills, the gifts that each young person has, and to shape them to a point where that individual has the opportunity to become the best version of themselves.
Yes, education is a process of discovery. We've absolutely no idea what our new boys and girls in Year 7 are capable of achieving. There may indeed be a great German scholar there, a fantastic philosopher, a leader of this council, or indeed a future sportsman of major merit. Because education isn't about jumping hurdles, but it's about, literally means drawing out. Educare in Latin, to lead out. Each student has the DNA in them which is developed during their time with us and will serve them well as they step into the exciting adventures ahead of them. This shaping occurs through the experiences they have, the inspiration, encouragement and support that those around them provide. Our thanks go to the staff who've guided, cajoled and believed in the prize winners being honoured today. Their extensive subject knowledge, pedagogical expertise and constant reflections of their own practice contribute significantly to the performance outcomes our students are celebrating today.
So aim high, one of our key ideals in the sixth form, and our students to my right here have certainly done exactly that. Many are already at university, but those that are back are here because they have indeed aimed high, both in A-level study and in their Level 3 BTEC programmes as well. And 85% of our outgoing students are off to university. And And they're going to study a diverse range of courses, some including computer science, banking, finance, real estate, business, sport. In fact, 3 of our students are already in the States on sports scholarships for tennis and soccer, as they call it there. And another is already on his course in Holland. Students are also pursuing subjects such as classical civilizations, astrophysics, interior architecture and design, marine and natural history photography, and also traditional subjects such as maths, biology, economics, history, geography continue to remain firm favourites. Still, other students have begun gap years. They are gathering relevant work experience which will enhance their abilities to do the course they want to do perhaps next year, or the employment that they seek to go into. But all of them are able to follow their dreams and aspirations. That diversity exists because of the bespoke posting support given to them in the sixth form here. And our current Year 13s, last year's Year 12s, have so much to celebrate too. And all of you who were there for our very first celebration of Year 12 back in July will remember appreciating the incredible academic achievements of their first year in sixth form. And I intend to give you too every support as you go through this important next few months as we start to look forward to a future after Clares Court.
Every student leaves our sixth form with greater self-belief than they arrived because of the opportunities they've taken. Mrs. Rogers has to be particularly strict about the sixth form uniform dress code, not because they have to wear their suit jackets every time they're at school, but just in case the BBC turn up in order to do, as they did earlier this year, a documentary on the insights and comments of our sixth form on Brexit. I mean, jeepers, Theresa May, then Prime Minister, was on the ropes. Actually, we were saying, it's difficult to remember when any Prime Minister of ours wasn't on the ropes. Listening to David Cameron and Boris Johnson at the moment, they don't appear to be putting both of their best steps forward. It's a difficult challenge we've got. Not quite as bad, of course, as the challenge our first 11 have in reaching the final of the Super 8s Football League, which they did, of course, in winning it, and then the triathlon gold medals and international rugby representation for not England, but Brazil, Germany, and a little bit of England called the West of England. It's been great this last year to see those sporting successes.
So they've aimed high, they've believed in themselves, but students have also made a huge difference during their time in our sixth form. They've participated right here, next door in the pool, in the swim marathon. They've done hamper packing, distributing hampers for people around Maidenhead on behalf of the Lions Club. There have been toy collections and Christmas decoration donations to the new Alexander Divine Children's Hospice. And of course fundraising for our inaugural Gambia trip, which goes off in I think just under a month. We're off to the Gambia to Bruford, where already Clares Court has provided a fresh water well. So we've enjoyed sponsored silences. I've particularly enjoyed those, Jacob. We've had cake sales, we've had dodgeball tournaments, all sorts of wonderful and exciting ways of raising funds, which will now go forward to help to build a computer centre in the village over the coming years. So these and numerous other accomplishments are a huge source of pride for you as parents and for us as a school. And I've been contacted by parents from not just last year, but from 3 and 4 years ago, so eager to tell us of the great successes of students that went through our sixth form onto university and are now graduating with degrees, first class honours and 2-1s. And it's just so lovely to hear back from parents about those great successes. Also, we have parents of current first-year students who were here last year accepting awards, who have already been awarded certificates of recognition by the Dean of their Russell Group University. And no pressure, Year 13 current, but I'm looking forward to hearing more and more about you as the years go through. So, as our prizes are now given and received, prize winners, friends, family, whole school community, remember the words of Michelangelo. I did not create David. He was already there, inside the stone.
So when we now move forward to our winners of the subject prizes, it's fair to say we never quite know who's going to be here. Because they should be probably either here or at university, but we never know. So Dr. Woodruff, if you'd like to join us again to help us with these awards, coming this time from your right-hand side there, we should see some of art, Joe Woolton, biology, Maggie Spargo, sport, Donald Halliday, IT, Alex Raymond-James, business studies, Harman Suwana, chemistry, Katie Garside, drama and theatre studies, Oliver Yate, economics, Joe Stephen, and English, Callum Hayes.
Parents, if you've slipped in and you want to be recognised, you are very welcome to join us up front. Other subject prizes go to James Cooper for Geography, Jamie Vowles for History, Lawrence Murphy for Maths, Amy Walters for Media Studies, Sophie Lucas, the surprise is no longer Sophie, Philosophy and Ethics, which is exactly what she was hoping for, Callie Mudge for PE, Charlotte Lewis for Psychology, Oliver Constantine for Technology, and Freya Ramsey for Textiles.
I move on now finally to the School Awards and Honours. These are individual prizes and awards that you know are awarded, endowed by the families concerned, and it's lovely to see some of those people here today, Liz Green, Rosemary Barker, to name but two. So, let's start off with the Christopher Green Award for Photography to Zainab Salim. And the Physics Prize to Piers Yonkers. Public Speaking Cup goes to Daniel Greenwood. The Munro Award for Progress, Kate Jessamine. The Fuller Cup for Personal Endeavour to Ruby Sullivan and Rafe Storr.
The Luke Award for Sport goes to Holly Sheeran Hall, who sadly is sunning herself in Florida, but Mr. Noel Sheeran is here. Are you going to come forward, Mr. Sheeran Hall, and collect this on Holly's behalf, please? Thank you. Mr. Sheeran and I enjoy a good pair of glasses, don't we? The Sparks Award for Musical Achievement to Robert Byerley. I've gone right. I do apologise. My apologies. Go on, Robert. You're out of Sorry. The McDonald Trophy goes to Matt Kidd, but he's delayed. His flight's been delayed coming back from his trip with his family, so he's somewhere 30,000 feet up, I believe. So, but Matthew Kidd is awarded the McDonald Trophy.
It gives us great pleasure to ask Mr. Spanswick, in front of Mr. and Mrs. Spanswick, to give the Spanswick Trophy to Claudia Kerry-Roger and Adam Fairley.
The Julian Budd Sports Leaders Award goes to Amy Walters. She is an amazing dance choreographer, among many other things, and is currently our GAP student at Senior Girls, working with us all year, which is fantastic for our pupils.
Andrew Hawkins Cup, this time being won by the electric guitar of Tom Hull. Contribution to jazz band Alistair Jessamine. And probably no surprise to you to see the contribution to school music goes to Joshua Morgan. And our two music performers of the year are Benjamin Dyer and Hannah Senior.
So we will award Rosie her very, very special trophy, the Sixth Form trophy. And this is because Rosie is such a focused and tenacious young lady. She shone in her academic studies, achieving a huge 188 UCAS points through her 3 distinction stars in the extended diploma in sport, as well as an AS in media. Now, she's a student who has remarkable determination and ambition, has had to overcome significant personal challenges throughout this past 2 years, and has also been a formidable first 11 hockey captain. I don't think I would want to be chased around the hockey pitch by Rosie. So we wish her every success. She's about to begin a gap year with a view to looking at university next September. So Rosie O'Brien, Sixth Form trophy. So the Rotary Service Above Self Award is a very prestigious award. It's been won by 3 different individuals. It's been awarded to Hannah Hale, to Ollie Lithgow, and also to Natasha Mayer. Now, neither Ollie or Natasha can be with us this afternoon, but I know that Hannah's here because she's already spoken so well. So I'll just read some words about Hannah and her reason for winning this award. So Hannah encompasses all the values and qualities that Clare School upholds. She is caring and respectful of her peers and her teachers, and she has demonstrated her loyalty through her commitments to the PE department, as well as supporting school events. Hannah continues to be an exemplary ambassador for music. Her commitment to musical ensembles is hugely valued by the school, and she's a positive role model for the younger generation of musicians coming through the ranks. Hannah has grown in confidence over the years as she has been able to balance her academic studies with her other commitments, and we are looking forward to seeing what she contributes to senior girls in her new role this year as head girl. So Hannah Hale, Rotary Service Above Self Award.
So we have a new award this year, which is the Outstanding Contribution to School Life, which has slightly missed the order of presentation. So we now come on to that, and there are 2 winners here.
2 winners. So these 2 winners are very worthy winners. They've contributed in so many different ways to school. And the young lady who's not here to receive the award, Freya Ramsey, I'll just say a few words about Freya's contribution, because she's made an enormous impact during her time here in the Sixth Form. First-class attitude to learning, an exceptional time manager, which is inevitably going to be useful as she starts her psychology degree at Stirling University, which is where she is right now. Freya took on a head of school role with a particular responsibility for well-being. And she was found organising workshops for pupils in Key Stage 3, as well as encouraging students in our Sixth Form to both raise and discuss issues around mental health. She also took on the role of event organiser for our Sixth Form ball, and she envisioned the Venetian Master Ball theme, dressed the tables elegantly, oversaw the marketing of the evening, and ensured we all had a memorable time. So I want to say a thank you to Freya for the generosity and the legacy she leaves behind, and her sister will come up with our other winner in just a moment, but I want to talk a little bit to you about Elliot Merry. Now, Elliot is a confident young man, combining a deep interest in his subjects with an outstanding work ethic. He's achieved grades B in biology, chemistry and maths, as well as an A in his EPQ, and he deserves every success as he heads off to Southampton University to study biology. He was also deputy head boy and made countless contributions to PTA events, usually wearing a high-vis jacket. He was involved with fundraising activities, student voice, STEM workshops, as well as supporting both his peers and younger students with their studies. He's always been an outstanding ambassador for Clare's Court and is a deserving winner of this award. So the outstanding contribution to school life goes to Elliot Merry and Freya Ramsey, aka Rebecca Ramsey today. Unable to be with us today, but David Karavitis joined us in Year 12 and made a big difference straight away. The sort of young man, if anything needed doing, he was the man to do it. He would volunteer to involve himself in all sorts of charity events, fundraisers, a very kind and inclusive young man, a star on the rugby field and the dance floor, which is an unusual combination for any young man. He is particularly noted for a very kind Good Samaritan act, which happened last term when a visiting teacher unfortunately clipped the wing of one of our heads of school, and David actually witnessed the event and stayed to make sure that every party involved was perfectly safe and okay, and that struck me as a young man who's got so much to offer and is going to be a great asset to his university. He's off to Winchester, where he will be studying banking and finance, and we wish him well. He would be receiving the McSweeney Award if he was here.
Now, we'd like here our new head boy, James, and head girl, Kayla, to just be able to come up and take this award on behalf of their predecessors. Matthew, who you've heard is somewhere up in the sky somewhere, and Cami is somewhere. Paulie.
She's Paulie.
So we have these wonderful two examples of leading students to whom is being presented the Nuvoloni Sword of Honour.
So congratulations once more to all our award winners, those present and those already at university or in employment. I trust today will be a source of pride in what you have already achieved, but also motivation for what you have yet to achieve. And remember, we look forward to chatting to students current and past, as well as staff of Sixth Form current and past, over a cupcake and some fizz in our celebration of 25 years of Sixth Form. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steph Rogers, head of Sixth Form.
Thank you. Well, in a vote of thanks then, I might go slightly off tangent. If I could ask the deputy heads, boys and girls to possibly help me out, if that's okay. As our vote of thanks, we would like to recognise, to start with, certainly some of the members of our audience, in fact, so don't get too worried, who have really helped us, helped our pupils, helped our students, helped everyone to support the school in being part of the community. And that's very much our PTA. The Parents Teacher Association makes a significant contribution to everything that we do. And so if I could please firstly ask the President, Phyllis Avery, to come up to collect an award. Thank you. And while Phyllis keeps everything in order at PTA meetings, it's our chairs who also put in so much work, leading their teams on each site. So please, if I possibly ask Anna Taylor-West, Felipe Foy and Louise Notman-Brown to come forward to receive this. Thank you very much. stereotypes there, that's right, yeah. Thank you very much to our chairs of the PTAs. Now I'm going to ask James Wilding to help me here because we're going to recognise, goodness knows I've been here a long time, but some people have been here longer, and two particular members of staff, Mrs. Sheena Wilding for her 25-year service award and Mrs. Sandra Young for her 35-year service award. Please come forward. Please do.
This is not scripted, but I'd just like to take the opportunity to say that the last 25 years have been really the most amazing time in my life. It was 25 years ago last January, at the beginning of January, that I had a conversation with James, who suddenly said, Sheena, I need a little bit of help. Nursery numbers are growing, and you like small children, you must do, you've got so many of them. We have 4 daughters, Hugh and myself. Could you come in and help out for a couple of days? 2 days later of voluntary work turned out to be 2 terms later. My former career before children had been more the kind of management consultancy side, and so it was a total change. But I found something that I had a passion and a love for, and I'm just eternally grateful, James, for that conversation and that opportunity that you gave me all those years ago. It's all done, as far as I'm concerned, with the most amazing team that I have in the nursery departments. And if you could all just raise a round of applause for the nursery team who work so hard day in and day out. And I'm seeing children here, or students here, who I remember as being very little ones many years ago in the nursery department. So thank you very much.
There's one more, well, penultimate, you might actually say, considering, a certain thank you we would like to say to a legend of Clare's Court School. Any opportunity I can get to embarrass him, it really is good. John Raya has been the head teacher of Clare's Court from 2008 to 2018. He was my form tutor in 1991. I still have the scars. John, as an absolute legend of Clare's Court, please come forward and take this small token. So finally, Peter, to you. So we were at school at the same time together in the late 80s, should I say, the late 80s. As actually before we started this afternoon's proceedings, we had a quick catch up about some of the teachers. And how should we say, some of the teachers had real character and some of the people that you remember. It's nice to be able to say to you that all these decades later, and with everything that Clare's Court's changed in society over all those years, it's the teachers who are still so special here. It's their passion, it's their skill, and it's their integrity that binds everything, every bit of bricks and mortar that we have together. I might even say, actually, looking at the cohorts of teachers I'm privileged enough to work with on all 3 sites, almost maybe eclipsing those teachers who we fondly remember, if anything is to go by the outstanding GCSE results this year for my year 11 boys and girls. But we would like to say to you a huge thank you for coming today and sharing with us such stories and such personal stories too. It's always great to see another old boy of the school, and from us, we are very, very privileged to see someone come in, speak so beautifully to us, and hopefully, if you would, come forward to receive this small token of our appreciation.
Ladies and gentlemen, nothing like this happens by accident, and I have 2 of the hardest working administrators to thank for it. Could Heidi Lee and Olivia James just step forward into the lights? They hate doing this, but we've got to recognise that without them, we couldn't have this great celebration. So if they can step forward, I have 2 bottles of pop for them as well. please. Thank you, heads of school. If you can just quietly find your programme. And those of us are ready now to finish with my thank you and our final contribution ourselves to today's proceedings, the singing of Jerusalem. You'll see on the back of the programme I talk about a wonderful afternoon of celebration. I'd love to have shared it with my brother. Hugh lost his hip 3 weeks ago. They've given him a new one, but he's been consigned to pottering around home for the next 4 weeks as he recovers. He's sent everybody his best wishes today. It's the first prize day he's missed since 1980 joining us. And I'd love you to join with me in sending back this ringing round of applause. He's only about half a mile away. Do your best. So, as we get ready to sing our final song, I'm passing through, of course, those who are saying thank you for their work. Please stand, everybody, as we move forward to our next academic year with the words of Jerusalem.